The internet is on fire once again, and this time Joe Rogan has set off an absolute explosion of controversy after exposing Erika's secret arrangement. Get this, Candace Owens was right all along. Fans are calling it the most jaw-dropping revelation in recent podcast history. According to insiders, Joe didn't just hint, he outright confirmed that Erika had been quietly involved in a behind-the-scenes deal that completely changes everything we thought we knew about her image, her career, and her connections. The shocking truth: this so-called arrangement reportedly involved money, influence, and manipulation that went deeper than anyone imagined. Candace Owens had been warning people for months, claiming Erika was hiding something dark, something that tied her to powerful people and shadowy backroom dealings. Everyone called her crazy. But now, with Joe's revelation, Candace's claims suddenly don't sound so far-fetched. Social media is in chaos. Fans are torn between disbelief and outrage, demanding receipts while conspiracy threads explode with speculation about who Erika was really working for and why Joe Rogan chose this exact moment to expose her. It's not just gossip, Joe said on his latest episode. It's a pattern, and it's been going on for a long time. His words sent shivers through listeners worldwide. What was Erika's secret? Who helped cover it up? And how deep does this rabbit hole go? Stay locked in, because Joe Rogan's exposure of Erika's secret arrangement isn't just shaking the entertainment world, it's redefining it. When Joe Rogan dropped the latest episode of his podcast, no one expected what was about to unfold. Fans tuned in thinking it was going to be another deep dive into politics or pop culture, something edgy but familiar. Instead, within the first 15 minutes, Joe started hinting at something that made everyone stop scrolling and lean in closer. His tone was serious, his words deliberate. You ever notice how some people build entire careers on lies? He asked, leaning back in his chair. How they play the victim while making deals behind closed doors. Listeners immediately sensed it wasn't just random commentary. Joe had someone in mind. Then he dropped the bombshell. I'm talking about Erika. The moment that name left his lips, social media lit up like a wildfire. Fans flooded Reddit, X, and YouTube comments. Did he just say Erika? Which Erika? Wait, is this about her? Trying to confirm who he meant. But Joe made it crystal clear within seconds. I've been holding on to this for a while, he continued. But now that Candace Owens' claims have turned out to be right, it's time people know what was really going on. You could hear Jamie, Joe's co-host, hesitate before asking, "You mean this secret arrangement thing?" Joe nodded. Exactly that. People thought Candace was exaggerating, but she was closer to the truth than anyone realized. The internet nearly broke. Candace Owens had been hinting for months that Erika, a well-known media personality and widow of conservative figure Charlie Kirk, was involved in something shady, something that tied her to political donors, private networks, and hush money deals. Most dismissed it as another Candace controversy. But Joe's confirmation changed everything. Joe began recounting how the story first reached him. According to him, all started with a whistleblower, someone who used to work for a media firm that handled image consulting for high-profile political influencers. This wasn't some random conspiracy nut, Joe explained. This person had receipts, emails, messages, even wire transfers. He paused before dropping the line that would haunt Erika's reputation forever. It wasn't charity money. It was influence money. Those 4 words sent shockwaves across every major platform. Joe claimed Erika had been receiving private payments from a handful of wealthy political donors, who allegedly wanted to use her late husband's legacy as a brand vehicle for their causes. After Charlie's death, Joe said, she was supposed to keep his movement going, but what she did was turn it into a business. She sold access. She sold sympathy. Fans gasped. Even longtime supporters of Erika's image, who saw her as the grieving, devoted widow, were now questioning everything. Screenshots of donation records and mysterious payments started circulating. Some even claimed that the same names appeared on political PAC filings linked to controversial media pushes. The deeper people dug, the worse it looked. But Joe wasn't done. He said he had audio proof. Candace told me months ago that Erika had a deal with one of the big media companies, Joe revealed. It wasn't just about money, it was about silence. They kept her image clean as long as she didn't expose what really went down before Charlie passed. That was the moment fans realized this wasn't just another scandal, it was a full-blown cover-up. Joe said he'd stayed quiet because he didn't want to ruin anyone's life without evidence. But when Candace came out with her interview, he said, and people mocked her for telling the truth, I decided I wasn't keeping quiet anymore. Cut to Candace Owens, who immediately went live on X once the podcast dropped. I told you. She shouted during her stream. They called me crazy. They said I was clout chasing, but Joe Rogan just confirmed everything. Within an hour, her video had millions of views. She didn't just double down, she revealed even more. Erika had a contract, Candace claimed. She wasn't grieving, she was negotiating. And Joe just blew it wide open. While Candace was celebrating vindication, Erika's world was imploding. Her team rushed to release a statement calling Joe's claims baseless and defamatory, but the timing was terrible. By then, too much of the public had already seen the supposed evidence circulating online. A leaked email thread between Erika's PR agent and a political strategist made things worse. In one message, the strategist said, if she keeps up appearances through the next quarter, donors will stay happy. Make sure she posts about the foundation this weekend. The email was dated just 2 weeks after Charlie's death. Fans were horrified. This isn't grief, this is marketing. One commenter wrote on Instagram, she turned her husband's legacy into a business plan. Others defended her, saying she was simply trying to keep his work alive, but the mounting evidence made it harder to believe that narrative. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan stood by every word. During another live stream, he said, they can send all the lawyers they want, but I've got the truth on my side. Candace was right about Erika, and now it's out in the open. The real twist came when Joe revealed who had first tipped Candace off, an anonymous donor who had grown tired of watching Erika use tragedy for profit. Joe didn't name names, but he said the person was very close to the situation. He even hinted that they'd once been part of Erika's inner circle. The internet went into detective mode instantly. Fans started cross-referencing photos, videos, and old posts to figure out who the mystery whistleblower could be. Some thought it was a former staff member. Others believed it was one of Charlie's longtime friends. Either way, the puzzle pieces were fitting together in a way that made Erika look more and more guilty as the pressure mounted. Erika finally made a brief public appearance. Cameras caught her leaving a Los Angeles restaurant, visibly shaken, surrounded by her team. When asked about Joe Rogan's accusations, she muttered only 5 words. He doesn't know the truth, but the damage was done. The clip went viral in minutes. That's not denial, one TikTok user commented. That's fear. Candace Owens posted the clip with a savage caption, when you lie for years, the truth will always find you. By the end of the week, multiple sponsors had quietly cut ties with Erika's charity foundation. Major networks pulled her interviews. Her once loyal supporters had gone silent. Even close friends unfollowed her on social media. Joe Rogan's next episode, titled When the Cameras Lie, opened with him addressing the backlash. This was never about clout or taking sides, he said firmly. This was about exposing manipulation. People use grief as currency, and when Candace said it, no one listened. But she was telling the truth. He then looked into the camera and added, and believe me, what's been exposed so far is just the beginning. Those final words sent chills through the internet. Fans began speculating about what Joe was hinting at. Was there more proof? A video? Another whistleblower? Whatever it was, everyone knew one thing: the story was far from over. Because if Joe Rogan and Candace Owens were both right, then Erika wasn't just part of a scandal, she was part of something much bigger. And the world was about to find out just how deep it went. The story didn't just stay contained. 2 podcasts or social media clips, it exploded. Within hours of Joe Rogan's bombshell episode dropping, hashtags like hashtag Erika exposed and hashtag Candace was right were trending across X and Instagram. Clips of Rogan's reaction, that long drawn-out pause after showing the blurred screenshot, became a meme. But behind the laughs and viral reactions, something much darker was brewing. Because apparently, what Joe had hinted at wasn't just a casual arrangement. It was an ongoing, calculated connection that had political, financial, and personal layers deep enough to threaten people's reputations at the highest levels. Candace Owens, who had already been warning people about Erika's strange behavior for months, suddenly looked like the one who saw it all coming. Back in September, she'd posted a vague tweet about a certain widow who's been keeping quiet while cashing checks that don't belong to her. Nobody took her seriously at the time. Some accused her of stirring drama for attention, while others assumed she was just being her usual controversial self. But now, in the wake of Rogan's revelation, those old tweets resurfaced on people started connecting dots that nobody wanted to talk about out. Multiple insiders came forward claiming Erika had maintained a special understanding with a prominent donor connected to her late husband's political network. This donor allegedly provided financial support and discretion in exchange for what one source described as continued alignment with the movement's messaging. Rogan, never one to hold back, played a heavily edited voicemail during the episode where a woman's voice believed to be Erika's can be heard saying, "You know what we agreed on? Don't back out now." The internet went wild. Some fans thought Joe was crossing a line, while others praised him for pulling the curtain back on what they called fake conservative loyalty. The whole thing became a digital firestorm, with media outlets, bloggers, and political commentators dissecting every second of Rogan's segment. Screenshots of texts, leaked emails, and mysterious receipts started circulating on Reddit threads that claimed to have proof of what Erika had been doing behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Erika herself stayed silent. No statements, no press appearances, no interviews. Her Instagram comments were flooded with people demanding answers. And fans noticed she'd turned off her comments completely. The silence only made things worse. Every hour that passed without a response added more fuel to the speculation. Joe Rogan doubled down. In his next podcast, he said, "Look, I'm not trying to ruin anyone's life, but people deserve the truth. If you're gonna play a moral card on national TV while living a double life, you can't hide forever." It was a direct shot, and everyone knew it. Candace Owens wasted no time responding. She went live that same night with a stream titled, "Told You So," where she didn't just confirm Joe's claims, she expanded on them. According to her, Erika's arrangement wasn't just personal. It involved political image management and financial cover-ups that blurred ethical lines. Candace alleged that certain campaign funds might have been diverted to protect Erika's private lifestyle. This wasn't grief, she said sharply. This was business. The backlash was brutal. Political organizations that had previously supported Erika began quietly distancing themselves. Her name, once associated with strength and resilience, was now plastered across scandal blogs and commentary shows. From tragedy to manipulation, one commentator said, "Erika Kirk's story is no longer about loss. It's about deception." But here's the twist that no one saw coming. Some insiders started questioning Joe's timing. Why reveal this now? Why bring Candace into it? Was there more to this than just exposing hypocrisy? Some suggested Rogan's revelation might have been planned a coordinated hit meant to silence certain people before a major political announcement. Others claimed Joe had personal motives, tied to a recent falling out with one of Erika's allies in the media world. Still, the proof was hard to ignore, as more screenshots surfaced showing alleged payments, travel logs, and cryptic texts. It became clear that Erika's private life wasn't as clean as her public image suggested. One particular message read, "As long as no one digs, we're fine. I can handle Joe if he starts talking." That one line sent chills through the internet. Who was she referring to? And did she really think she could handle Joe Rogan? By now, even mainstream outlets were picking up the story. Fox News ran a brief segment calling it a private matter being weaponized for clicks, while CNN described it as a developing ethics scandal involving media and political figures. The polarized reactions only made things more confusing. No one could tell if this was genuine exposure or a smear campaign. In private, sources close to Erika claim she was devastated. One anonymous friend told reporters she's not this monster they're painting her as. She's been under pressure ever since Charlie died, and people have been taking advantage of her vulnerability. But the public wasn't ready to hear sympathy. They wanted accountability. Candace, smelling blood, teased that she wasn't done yet. Joe opened the door, she said in a cryptic tweet. But I've got the footage. That one post sent shockwaves through social media. What footage? Of what? And if she really had proof, why hadn't she released it yet? Rogan addressed it briefly in another episode, saying, if Candace has something, let her show it. But what I saw was enough. The hypocrisy runs deep. His tone was serious. This wasn't his usual laid-back commentary. He knew something bigger was at play. Behind the scenes, Erika's legal team was reportedly scrambling. According to leaked emails, they were considering filing defamation suits against multiple outlets, including Joe's production company. But doing so would mean opening up discovery, allowing lawyers to subpoena her private communications. That could expose even more secrets. Meanwhile, former colleagues started distancing themselves. One of Charlie's old associates said on record, "We respected her grief, but if these claims are true, then she's compromised the entire foundation we built." Donations to their charity began to drop overnight. Corporate sponsors quietly pulled back their support. It was a slow-motion collapse of everything Erika had tried to preserve since her husband's death. And just when everyone thought the story had hit its peak, a leaked clip hit Twitter, allegedly the footage Candace had hinted about. Though grainy and partially muted, it appeared to show Erika in a private meeting, laughing with a very donor Joe had mentioned earlier. Viewers claimed she was discussing media narratives and public loyalty in exchange for funding. Though her team denied its authenticity, the damage was done. Within hours, Rogan's followers flooded platforms with, "He was right" posts, while Erika's defenders fought back, saying the video was edited. The internet split in half. Was this exposure or exploitation? The truth was now buried beneath layers of speculation, anger, and disbelief. But one thing was certain: Joe Rogan had shaken the system. He'd taken a story whispered in private circles and blasted it into the global spotlight. And whether people loved him or hated him for it, everyone agreed this was far from over. Because Candace's next move could change everything. The internet went into complete meltdown the moment Candace Owens dropped the footage. It wasn't a teaser this time, it was the full video, unedited and crystal clear. She uploaded it during a surprise live stream titled Erika's Secret: The Truth They Tried to Hide. Within minutes, hundreds of thousands of people were watching, commenting, and screen recording every second before Erika's legal team could even react. The footage showed Erika sitting in a dimly lit restaurant, across from a man whose face was partially obscured. But his voice, that calm, confident tone, was unmistakable. It was the very political donor Rogan had mentioned. The two appeared relaxed, almost familiar. At one point, Erika leaned closer and whispered, "You promised you'd keep this between us. I can't have them finding out how deep this goes." The man nodded, replying, "As long as you stay on message, I'll take care of the rest." That one exchange detonated like a bomb across the internet. It wasn't just scandal anymore, it was confirmation. Candace had delivered the proof that everyone had been waiting for. Every news outlet from TMZ to major political commentators scrambled to cover it. Clips flooded. TikTok and Instagram Reels, while Twitter Spaces lit up with people debating the moral fallout. Some were furious, calling Erika a fraud. Others defended her, claiming the clip was taken out of context or weaponized to destroy her reputation. Joe Rogan broke his silence later that night. He didn't gloat or brag. Instead, his tone was cold and deliberate. "This is what happens when you try to live two lives," he said. "Eventually, both catch up with you. I wasn't trying to destroy her, but people needed to see the truth. And now that it's out there, it's up to the audience to decide what they believe." His words hit hard, echoing across every social media feed. Meanwhile, Erika was nowhere to be seen. Her PR team released a short statement the next morning, claiming the video had been heavily manipulated and illegally recorded. But the damage was irreversible. Brands pulled sponsorships, upcoming appearances were canceled, and multiple organizations that once supported her quietly severed ties. Even close friends who'd stood by her after her husband's passing were beginning to fade into silence. Candace, however, was relentless. She went on another live session, almost taunting Erika. "I told you this day would come," she said. "You can't hide behind sympathy forever. The truth has no favorites." She revealed that she had been sitting on the footage for months, waiting for the right moment, and Joe Rogan's Exposed gave her the perfect opening. "He cracked the door open," Candace said with a sly smile. "I just kicked it down." That revelation turned the spotlight on Candace too. Critics accused her of using Erika's downfall to boost her own brand. Some even speculated that she and Rogan had coordinated the entire takedown, a calculated move to destroy Erika's credibility while boosting their platforms. But Candace didn't seem to care. "I didn't need Joe," she said. But the truth needed a bigger stage. Behind closed doors, insiders claimed that Erika's mental health was spiraling. A close friend allegedly told Page 6 that Erika hasn't slept in days and was breaking down from the pressure. Rumors surfaced that she was considering leaving the country temporarily to avoid the media chaos. Paparazzi swarmed her home, camping outside for days in hopes of catching a glimpse. But she remained hidden. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. Late one evening, Erika finally broke her silence. Instead of a statement or a TV interview, she uploaded a raw, emotional video to her social media. Sitting alone in her living room, no makeup, eyes swollen from crying, she addressed the world directly. "I made mistakes," she began, "but not the ones they're saying I made." Her voice trembled as she described how grief after her husband's death left her vulnerable, how people she trusted used her pain as leverage. She didn't name names, but viewers immediately suspected the donor in the video. Erika claimed that she had been pressured into partnerships and that her silence wasn't complicity, was survival. She accused both Rogan and Candace of exploiting her story for clicks, calling their actions a public execution disguised as journalism. The internet exploded again. Some fans rallied behind her, flooding the comments with messages of support. "We forgive you, Erika," one wrote. "They went too far." Others were unforgiving. "You only confessed because you got caught," another said. The video reignited the debate. Was Erika a manipulator, or was she manipulated? Joe Rogan reacted quickly, playing her video during his next podcast episode. "That's the playbook," he said grimly. "Cry, deflect, and make yourself the victim." He insisted he had nothing personal against her but refused to apologize. "I exposed what I saw. I stand by it." Candace echoed the same stance, tweeting, "Accountability isn't cruelty. It's truth." As the story dominated headlines for a second week, networks began inviting legal analysts and PR experts to dissect Erika's every word. One crisis manager noted, "She's trying to regain control by humanizing herself, but it might be too late. Once the public decides you're guilty, there's no coming back." But there was one more surprise left in this saga. A few days later, leaked text messages surfaced between Erika and an unnamed journalist. In them, Erika claimed that she had proof linking both Rogan and Candace to a larger media scheme, something about selective leaks, coordinated timing, and shared sponsors. "They wanted to break me because I knew too much." One text read, "Whether real or fabricated, the messages reignited interest and suspicion." Suddenly, the narrative began to shift. Was Erika really the villain, Or had she been set up by two powerful voices seeking to control the story? Online forums filled with theories. Some claimed that Candace's proof had come from questionable sources. Others accused Joe of staging parts of his reveal. The truth became murkier by the hour. By the end of the week, Rogan addressed the conspiracy theories directly. "I don't care what she says," he told his audience. "I didn't fake anything. If she has proof, let's see it." Candace, however, went silent. No tweets, no videos, nothing. Her sudden disappearance from the conversation only made things more suspicious. Then, as if to add one final twist, Erika's team released an audio clip allegedly recorded days before Rogan's first episode aired. In it, a male voice sounding eerily similar to Rogan's can be heard saying, "If we drop this, it'll blow up bigger than Hunter's laptop." The authenticity was unverified, but it sent shockwaves through the internet once again. People began wondering if the so-called truth everyone had been chasing was just another layer of deception. By the time the dust began to settle, everyone involved, Joe, Candace, Erika, had taken reputational hits. Rogan's critics accused him of crossing ethical lines. Candace was branded as opportunistic, and Erika's once polished image was in ruins. The story that started as an expose had morphed into a chaotic storm of half-truths, manipulation, and media warfare. In the end, no one really won. The world had witnessed another public breakdown of trust, a reminder that in the age of viral exposure, truth is rarely clean, and nobody comes out untouched. But as Rogan ominously hinted in his final remarks on the saga, this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. Because the people pulling the strings behind all this, they haven't even been named yet. If you thought this story was wild, buckle up because things are about to get even darker, with new leaks surfacing every hour and both Rogan and Candace under scrutiny. This scandal might just evolve into one of the biggest media firestorms of the decade. Who's telling the truth? Who's playing who? And could Erika's next move flip the entire narrative upside down? Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're diving even deeper into this tangled web of lies, power, and betrayal in the next upload. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens when the full truth finally comes out. Full truth finally comes out.